So, we all know AIs can think, but have you ever wondered how they actually do things, in the real world? Well, today, we're going to open up the toolbox that makes it all happen. We're diving into the powerful tools from CrewAI that turn an AI from just a thinker into a doer.
It really is the central question, right? We've got these incredible language models that can write beautiful poetry or, explain quantum physics. But how do they actually break out of that digital box to interact with the world and get stuff done?
And that leads us right to our first big idea. Having a brilliant mind is one thing, but if you can't act on your thoughts, you're pretty limited. AI agents they need superpowers to really make an impact. And this is the perfect way to think about it. A huge language model is kind of like this brilliant brain just floating in a jar. It has all this knowledge, but think about it. It doesn't have hands to type, it doesn't have eyes to browse the web, and it certainly can't open up files on your computer. It's incredibly powerful, but it's trapped.
This is exactly where CrewAI comes in. It provides that absolutely crucial connection. It gives that brain in a jar the hands, the eyes, and the voice it needs to actually interact with the world around it. It's the bridge that connects pure thought with real-world action.
So, okay, let's get a little more specific. How does CrewAI actually pull this off? Well, it's all about giving the AI a specialized toolbox, one that's filled with exactly the right tool for whatever job comes its way. See, CrewAI tools aren't just one single thing. They're this whole collection of specialized functions. They give agents the power to do things like scrape websites for data, or manage files on your computer, and even generate brand new images. This is precisely how the AI finally gets out of that metaphorical jar. All right, let's start with the first set of tools in our little showcase. These are the ones that let an agent learn, the ones that let it gather intelligence from that huge world of information out there. First up is one of the most fundamental tools you can imagine for any agent working with the internet. To know anything about what's happening online right now, it needs to be able to read a web page. And that's exactly what the Scrape website tool is for. To put it simply, this tool lets an AI read a website just like you or I would. You just give it a URL, and bam, it goes to that page and pulls down all the text and data it finds. This is like the foundational skill for any agent that needs to be up to date with what's going on online. Now, reading one specific page is great, but what if you don't even know the URL you need? What if you have to search for something totally new? Well, for that, an agent needs a different kind of tool. It needs the SERP or Dev tool. And this is a huge step up from just scraping. Now the agent can actually use a search engine. But here's the cool part. It doesn't just get a messy wall of text back. It gets structured, organized results that it can actually analyze and act on. It's like the difference between reading a single random book and having access to the entire library's searchable catalog. Okay, so our agent can browse and search the web. Fantastic. But what about all the information that isn't online? This next set of tools lets agents interact with content way more directly by reading it, understanding it, and sometimes even creating it. Yeah, a ton of the world's information doesn't live on a website. It's stored locally, in files sitting right on a computer, and that's where the file read tool comes into play. This is absolutely critical. I mean, think about it. You want an AI agent to analyze a sales report from a spreadsheet or read a draft of your novel from a text file. Without the ability to read local files, it couldn't do any of that. This tool gives the agent access to its immediate private world. All right, now for a really, really powerful one. What if an agent could not only read new information, but could also seamlessly blend it with its own massive knowledge base? Well, let me introduce you to the RAG tool. RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation, and honestly, it's a total game changer. The agent doesn't just repeat what it read in a file. It retrieves that new information, and then it augments its own understanding to generate a truly insightful, synthesized response. We're talking about the difference between a simple book report and a deep dive research paper. So far, we've pretty much just been talking about text and data. But what about visuals? Of course, CrewAI has a tool for that too. It's called the Dolly tool.
And all it takes is a simple text prompt. The agent could be told to create something like a futuristic city skyline.
And with just that little description, this tool becomes the AI's paintbrush. It plugs directly into OpenAI's Dolly model, and it turns that text into a completely unique, high-quality image. This really expands the agent's capabilities from just the analytical into the creative, visual world. So we've got all these amazing individual tools, but how do they actually come together? Well, this last part is all about building a truly capable crew. The real magic happens in the autonomous workflow. See, this isn't about a person picking a tool for every single little step. Instead, you just set a high-level goal and the agent figures out the rest. It might decide to use the search tool to find market trends, then the scrape tool to analyze a competitor's website, and finally, the file tool to compare all that with an internal report. Each step intelligently informs the next, all on its own.
And that's really the key takeaway here. These tools aren't just some fancy add-ons. They are the fundamental building blocks. They are what elevates an AI from a simple chatbot into a truly autonomous agent that can see, think, and act to solve really complex problems.
And that brings us to the final and maybe most important question. We're now arming these incredibly powerful minds with a full toolbox, giving them hands, eyes, and even a creative spark. So the only real question left for us is, what are we going to ask them to build?